As an interviewer, your job is to make the guest feel comfortable so that you can get the most engaging and valuable information from them as possible. The following 15 interview techniques and communication hacks are going to help you put your guest at ease so that you can dig deeper into their responses. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Riverside YouTube channel. Here are some good podcast interview prep tips. When you're researching your podcast guest, pay attention to any consistencies and patterns in their background information. This is going to show you what they care about the most and will give you an angle that they are passionate about. Now, when it comes to research, no amount is too much. Write down everything you can find on your guest and then study it. By actually knowing that person you are talking to, it will naturally spark your curiosity to ask them questions and pull examples from their past. A great thing to look for in your research is when your guest had to make a decision about something. Decisions take a lot of thought and analysis, so dig into that decision-making process and try to get actionable advice for your listeners. For example, your episode is on career. Your guest used to be a sports reporter, but now they're a podcaster. Talk to them about the decision-making process of that career switch. Go into the interview willing to ditch your plans and go where the conversation takes you. Sometimes the best interviews are unplanned. You may uncover something about your guest that you didn't know, and because you've thoroughly researched them, that means that this information wasn't easy to find. This is a goldmine and will make you stand out from other interviews they've done. So take the time to explore it more. If you can get a guest to say, "I've never been asked that before," or "I've never told anyone this before," you've hit the jackpot. Make that your goal. Prepare your questions and go into the interview with the mindset that you don't know what you're talking about and you are there to learn. Take the audience's perspective. This will help develop curiosity about what the interviewee is saying and help you ask more relevant questions rather than stating your opinion. Remember, the listener is most likely there for the guest's opinion. Here are some tips that may help you read and guide your guest a little better. Make them comfortable by matching their mood, energy level, and language style. Calibrating your tone and energy level sets the stage for an evenly matched conversation and will put your guest at ease. Skilled interviewers are good at listening not just to the words their subject is saying, but also the tone in which the words are said, the pauses and nuances of the answer, and what's being left unsaid. This allows you, as the interviewer, to know when to go a little deeper into the topic or to move on to your next question. Speaking on getting deeper in a question, a great way to follow up on a question and get a guest to go deeper is by asking how questions. Try to uncover the motivation behind why they answered the previous question the way they did. Learn when to pause. Pausing is a great technique to help get more information out of your guest. People tend to feel the need to fill dead air, so if you make your guest sweat a little, they're likely to try and fill the silence. Don't pause for too long. Pause for 3 to 5 seconds after they answer a tough or thought-provoking question. Sometimes they will continue to expand or change the subject. Either way, this will allow you a clearer view into what they are thinking. If you're nervous, your guest will be nervous. Not every question has to be a great one. In the hit published interview with Michael Ashford, he gives some valuable advice to lose the pressure by taking the mindset of just asking the next easiest question. These questions push the guest to elaborate more, which will then set you up to ask the bigger questions. Speaking of easy questions, you don't have to be elaborate in the way that you ask questions. Just try to ask a question and get out of the way. Many interviewers feel the need to prove to their guests that they've done their research by elaborating on topics and points. The fact that you've done your research should shine through in the questions that you choose to ask, not in how you present the question. You don't have to state your opinion or have a personal reaction to what your guest said after every time they stop speaking. You can just let their answer stand on its own so that the listener can soak it in. When they stop speaking, just be silent for a second and then ask the next question. Don't be afraid of writing notes throughout the interview if there's something you want to come back to. It can be hard to listen and remember certain facts at the same time, so keep a pen and paper with you and jot things down. Switch up your affirming words as the interviewer. Make note of your tendencies by reviewing your podcast episodes after they happen and taking note on the words that you always seem to come back to. Interesting, or I love that, are very common reactions. Try to find other ways to say these words or phrases to keep it interesting for the guest and the listener. If your guest doesn't answer in a way that you think is valuable to the listener, don't worry. You can always reframe the question and guide your guest to the answer that you're hoping for. Try to clarify the question to them by adding an example. Rather than a question like, "How do you find guests for interviews?" Elaborate with something like, "Earlier you said you love to network. Is this how you find guests for your interviews, or is there a different way that you go about the process?" We hope these interview techniques and communication hacks will help you feel more confident going into and conducting your next podcast interview. Just remember to always be calm, and you can always edit in post-production. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and before you go, subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon so that you never miss another video from the Riverside YouTube channel.